Just coming back real quick on what I was speaking on before, which is the Lucifer thing and the whole thing with the Bible and the mix-up of the Satan, the Lucifer, the devil situation and all that, and the God situation. I'm doing these things as I do not have my laptop. I have massive amounts of information and articles and things like that in my laptop, and books as well. A lot of books, EPUBs and ebooks and PDFs. But I also do have a lot of books. I don't know which one I will be able to get into to even begin to speak on the Lucifer thing, because it's scattered. It's not direct, and it's scattered. For instance, the book of the Hermetica, giving the knowledge of Tahuti or Thoth, and him representing the divine logos, which he holds the staff, or what we'll just say he holds the caduceus, right? He holds the caduceus. The caduceus with its two wings represents the cherubim or the seraphim, or we'll just say the angels or the protective deities, right? Which also represents certain aspects of the divine symbol of the eye of Heru. For instance, the left eye. Sometimes in jewelry or on the walls of ancient Kemet, you will see the Uatkit, or the eye of Heru, or the eye of Ra. On each side of the eye, you would have the I think it's called the Nephet bird, which is a symbol of the divine mother, and holding it's basically an ostrich, and it's holding, and it has the Osiris crown on it. Has basically the crown of Upper Egypt, and then the other one has the crown of Lower Egypt. On the other side, the right side, is the symbol of the Urei, or the serpent coming up out of that corner of the eye, right? And its crown looks like a seat with a stem of a flower coming up out of it, being coiled up, as in the coiled serpent. Which I've been wearing that chain around me for at least 2-3 months. My wife gave me the chain. Not only that, did my wife give me the chain ever since. I've been so stuck on the divine feminine principle and everything, Prince dying, March Madness, and the birth, and the Lady of Sorrow, all these things happen with the 7 swords in her heart. It's just been so many connections going on. This is what's going on. This is the 2012 shit that motherfuckers been talking about. But the Hermetica, written by Timothy freaking Peter Gandy. The picture on the front of the book is clearly a representation. Both of your eyes represent the inner eye, which is the pineal gland, which they call the third eye, which is more than likely the first eye. And I have massive amounts of information that I wrote down. Page 32. Knowledge of the immortal son taught or laughed at. You know what I mean? This is called the Hermetic Prophecy. And Hermes, first man to attain all knowledge. So, talking about the knowledge of the immortal soul being laughed at. Think about that. Page 32. Let's see if I can see if I was on something right there. Page 32 of the Hermetica, the prophecies of Hermes, the lost wisdom of the pharaohs. We'll read it. Okay, what it is it's a saying, actually. This is the prophecies of Hermes right here. The intro goes on like this. It says, in this chapter, Hermes describes the nature of pure philosophy, but laments that in future generations it will become all but lost. Meaning that he's like hurt that this nature of pure philosophy will be lost in the children. You know what I mean? The children could be represented as the 22 plus 10 numbers, or Sephirah, and the 22 paths of the tree of life, as represented as divine sparks of divine consciousness. Tahuti being the basic, you could say the Anu of them, the leader, primordial before creation. The The philosophy that Hermes teaches is not just a clever intellectual exercise. It is about focusing the mind in deep meditation on Atum, which is an ancient Egyptian name for God. So, that's another thing. You go back to the ancient text of Atum, right? Because we stuck on the Bible. We stuck on the this and that and that and this, right? We don't want to know what the hell nothing else is. We don't want to know who Atum is and everything. It's just sad, you know. I told you that Atum is the same as Atum Ra. Same as Atum Ra. Okay. And Atum represents the inner soul within the cave of the Divine Mother. Right? See if we can find something on Atum real quick. I'm trying to speak just straight from the book today, or books, and give you information on things. Okay? Because I just spoke on the Tree of Life. You know what I mean? The Tree of Life is a representation of your 7 plus 3, your 7 chakras and your divine monad trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and then the 7 chakras. Tahuti holds the staff. He holds it. And between the 2 wings of the staff of the Caduceus is an orb. Okay? It's an orb. It's a dot, a circle, a sphere. This is known, after you do your own study, you will understand, this is known as the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the father of all the endocrine glands. There seems to be 7 major endocrine glands in the human body. Okay? And these endocrine glands resonate with the planets in a vibrational situation. We have the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, along with the parathyroid glands. This all into one. The heart, the adrenal gland, along with the kidney, because the adrenal gland sits on top of the kidney. You can say that the kidneys will be like a gland, but it's really the adrenal gland is like the king of the kidneys. The stomach, which is under all of that. The pancreas, which is under that. The intestines, which is under all of that. And then we have the testes, or the ovaries of the female and the male, who are the same, who are one and the same. All right. And that resonates with the 7 chakras. The 7 chakras being the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra. The crown chakra is going to resonate with the pituitary gland, the pineal gland. The third eye chakra actually is, we're going to say this. This is how we're going to say. Pituitary gland, pineal gland, the crown chakra, and the third eye. It's up to you to where you want to put them. I'm not really tripping. For me, the pineal gland is represented as the crown, or at least the receptor of the crown, which would be the 8th chakra, which represents the first of another level of 7 chakras, as in the 7 tones of music. The throat chakra resonates with the thyroid, parathyroid glands. The heart chakra resonates with the heart. The third solar plexus chakra resonates with the stomach and the pancreas, okay, and the intestines. And then the root, the sacral chakra. Actually, the sacral chakra is going to relate with the intestinal area down on into the root chakra, which represents the female and the male genitalia / ovaries / testes. All right. So there you have it. There you have it. And the endocrine glands, along with those 7 chakras, who have their own symbols and symbologies, their own characters and mythologies, their own stories of heroes and everything. It's all in the scripts. It's in all the ancient scripts. And this system was actually known. And it's basically saying that this system was played out into reality. People were creating cities that were based on the alignment of the human body with the chakras and the endocrine system, right? Along with the stars, the star maps. Star maps all over the damn world, from Teotihuacan all the way to the Hopi of Arizona, Napta Playa. So many. It's so many. Okay. Let's see here. It's telling you about how all that resonates with the endocrine system. So this is a section in the book The Tree of Life. I was trying to get to something about Atum, because Atum was a name that meant God in ancient Kemet, along with the name Hem. Hem also meant God. Hem also meant the opposite, like an evildoer type thing, like somebody being bad or whatever. So understand this as well, that the pineal gland is surrounded by water substance. This pineal gland can actually split the water molecules, and according to Dr. Richard King in his book Melanin, okay, let's see, Melanin, A Key to Freedom. I'm pretty sure it is in that book on how melanin splits water molecules and uses it for shit. You know what I'm saying? I believe that this melanin, which is the beginning of all things, they just don't want to name it melanin. They're just saying that the melanin, you got neuromelanin, you have melanin. Well, the melanin is on every important brain section, and within. One of the biggest being the substantia nigra, the other the locus coeruleus. That's all in the book. That locus coeruleus, for me, represents where the pineal gland actually either is or gives its visions, or allows you to traverse things, to traverse the galaxies, to traverse different multi-dimensional realities and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, if you take a look at the symbol for the Muslims, you have the star with the crescent. That star with the crescent is the ancient symbol for the Divine Mother and her son, right? You have a moon and you have a star, you know what I'm saying? And we know that there's stars all around us, man. You know what I mean? Only thing that actually exists is the mother and her son, which are the divine, dark energy, dark matter, triple space, energy, whatever you want to call it, without that permeates throughout everywhere. Ancient Kemet called Menhert, which meant fullness, all the way down to the seeds, which are the stars, right? The Divine Mother and her son. That's all it is. I'll read you something from the Hermetica on Atum. I'll continue reading that, and then I want to go back to read about the boat of Ra, with the 9 divinities, who are none other than the Netaru. These Netaru is where the Greeks get the word, the gods and goddesses from, and where the Romans all the way down, and how they resonate with the planets as well, dealing with the Romans, and then all the way down to your world, around the world, ancient civilizations, different deities, different entities, your angels, your angles of light, your geometrical figures, your chakras. So, such pure philosophy on meditating on Atum is about rising above mere opinions to experience directly the mind of the universe. This is dealing with experience, directly experiencing this shit, man. Using the God-given gift of our own little minds. Remember, I was talking about the little faces. The little faces in the one before, the one that I spoke before this one. Heru means little faces, or you can just say Heru means faces, right? Using the God-given gift of our own little minds, we can come to know the big mind that creates and maintains the cosmos in beautiful order. This big mind is known as Kepler, right? This big mind is known as Kepler, creates and maintains the cosmos. But what happens is, when the cosmos were maintained and created, the substance of these cosmos, as represented as the body of a divine mother, were basic. We could say, you just got to go to the Enuma Elish text and understand that Tiamat represents the divine mother, and Marduk, or Kingu, is her guardian, and Marduk represents the one who wants to slay Tiamat and create all kind of shit in the universe, in the objective reality. And that is the God of the Bible, Marduk. Now, really, the God is really Ptah. You know what I mean? And the Elohim, which would be the Anunnaki. So, on another level, we're dealing with the inner workings of the endocrine system and the chakras and things like that, the brain work and everything like that, alchemical processes. On another level, we're dealing with how the story was stolen and regurgitated to back the power, to back the power of a patriarchal system of spiritual reality, instead of the first and beginning matriarchal and her son reality. For Hermes, spiritual philosophy is not opposed to science, as it often is for us today. The student of the spiritual philosophy studies science as a form of devotion to God. I'll just read what I have in parentheses. He appreciates the perfect order of the universe, as if he were listening to a grand symphony, remember the 7 tones, in which every melody has been exquisitely combined to compose one magnificent harmony, i.e. the 7 chakras, i.e. the world. Hermes prophesies, however, that this spiritual, or prophesies that this spiritual philosophy will one day become lost and confused. Speaking from our distant past, he uncannily describes the predicament we find ourselves in today. Pure philosophy has been replaced by the teachings of clever intellectuals with no mystical understanding of life. People have ceased to see the universe as a source of wonder and no longer revere it as the work of God. Spirituality has come to be dismissed by science as primitive superstition. The profound wisdom of the ancient Egyptians is thought of as a dead religion and as little more than one of the most ancient revered kings of ancient Egypt was King Seti I. He has the name Set, as in Sut, the god Sut, in his name. Hermes foretells that Egypt, once the home of spirituality, will become a desolate place deserted by the gods. The gods meaning the Pauti. The gods meaning not the damn gods, Zeus and them. They came after the Olympians. Or after the Titans. No, we're talking about the Titans. We're talking about the Titans, the ones who hold up the pillar of beingness, awareness, I-ness. We're talking about the Titans of the obelisk, of the Tekanu, the Titans of your endocrine glands, your 7 chakras, resonating with the 7 rishis, the 7 teachers, the 7 aeons, the 7 stars of Pleiades, I believe Orion, Ursa Major, right? 7 everywhere. And these deities are known as Amun Amunet, Nun Nunet, Ku Kuket, Hu Huhet. Alright? Then after them comes these personified deities of them, which I refer to as the Titans, right? But it's ancient Egyptian. You see what I'm saying? And they basically utilize ancient information before them. And certain sects demonized Set. Certain sects upraised him. And instead of Set, they would use Osiris. Or instead of Osiris, they would use Set. It's just history in the making. So we were the first ones, our ancestors, to dealing with this God stuff. Every city had their own particular god, but they all knew that this particular god, like the 22 gnomes of Egypt, the gnome itself represented the god. They all, and I'm gonna tell you like this, that resonates with your DNA, resonates with the Torah and the tarot card deck, the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah, the Hebrew letters, and everything like that is all dealing with these ancient primordial gods who number in 9. Okay. Personified as Ra in his boat with the 9 divinities. Without the 9 divinities in the boat of Ra, Ra's beingness is not held up. And this beingness is Ra is the one who is sitting on top of the obelisk, right? Or who is the captain of the ship but don't have to drive the ship. The boat of Ra with 9 divinities, and Ra in the form of Ra Horakti. This is from Pert Imheru, Papyrus Nu. This talking about the diagram that he's seeing. The diagram of the Anunnyan theology above shows that the Pauti, which means the company of Neteru, or the company of gods and goddesses, is what the Greeks would say. The creative principles which are embodied in the primordial gods and goddesses of creation. The primordial gods and goddesses of creation emanated from the Supreme Being. Ra, or Ra-Tim, arose out of the Nu, right? The primeval waters, the hidden essence, and began selling the boat of millions of years, which included the company of gods and goddesses. On his boat emerged the Neteru, or cosmic principles of creation. Understand what I'm saying? Every time we talk about the Neteru, or the Elohim, this is what they are, the Anunnaki, who in the Zechariah Sitchin shit, in the Sumerian tablets, the Anunnaki basically come down here to mine gold and they create the Lulus and all these things. It's all dealing with the same type of stuff, man. It's not reality. Your soul is the gold. It's all dealing with the alchemical process. You have they have their own beingness. It's different aspects of consciousness, I guess. I don't know. We are created by it. This 9. This 9 is also the symbol of the 9 that's coming up out of the one of the crowns of Egypt. Selling signifies, listen to this, selling signifies the beginning of motion in creation. Motion implies that events occur in the realm of time and space. Thus, the phenomenal universe comes into existence as a mass of moving essence we call the elements. These elements are fire, air, earth, and water in the ether. But prior to this motion, there was the primeval state of being without any form and without any existence in time or space. The Neteru of the Pauti are Ra Atum, Shu, Tefnut, Gebnut, Asar, Aset, Set, and Neptet. Shu, Tefnut, Gebnut, and Gebnut, Asar are Set, and Neptet, or Neptes. They represent the principles upon which creation manifests. We got to understand this. This means that if they represent the principles upon which are the gods, the principles are the gods, the cosmic principles, upon which creation manifests, then what brings them forth together to create? Well, this is where the thing about Ra comes in. See what I'm saying? Thing about Ra comes in. And this is continued on. This is just continuing on with that. But Hermes foretells that Egypt, once the home of spirituality, which represents the body, the human body, will become a desolate place deserted by the gods. Amazing. So I'll come back with the prophecies of Hermes and read that to you. Remember, the word Atum is today God.